Don't push me, or I'll make sure you get your baby aborted. You know your womb is not as big as mine. I wonder how a baby manages to fit into the womb of a dwarf like you. Durana, now angry, said, "Never talk to me like that again in your life, or I will make you regret the day you said yes to Andrew."
How it all began.
Durana begged her husband to marry another wife who could bear them children. "Andrew," she pleaded, "all our wealth will be wasted without a child to manage it after our death." Andrew was not at peace with her suggestion. He held her hand and spoke softly. "Durana, this request of yours has been troubling me deeply. I don't want to share my love with another woman. I want to stay married to you, with or without a child. After all, marriage is for better or for worse. I'm enjoying the peace we have in this home, and I don't want anything to disrupt it." Tears streamed down Durana's face. "This has been your reply for more than 2 years now. I've been begging you to marry another wife. Our union of 25 years has been blessed with everything except a child. Please, get me another woman so she can bear children for us. I want to hear the cry of children in this house. I want to see our legacy continue through children from your loins." Andrew sighed deeply, his heart heavy. "Durana, I understand your pain and longing. But can you imagine the complexities and emotional turmoil of bringing another woman into our lives? It might not be as simple as you think." "I have thought about it endlessly," Durana insisted. "I am ready to make any sacrifice. I dream of holding our child in my arms. I can endure anything for that joy." "If you are truly adamant about this," Andrew said, after a long pause, "then be the one to find me a second wife yourself. But please, make sure it's someone you can live with in peace. Our home and our love must remain intact, no matter what." Durana looked into Andrew's eyes, searching for a glimmer of understanding. "I know it will be difficult, but I believe it is worth it. I promise to find someone who will respect our relationship and bring joy to our home. We can make this work together. Andrew." Andrew nodded slowly, a mixture of sadness and resolve in his eyes. "All right, Durana, if this is what you truly want, then we will face it together." Durana started thinking of who would not give her trouble in her marriage. "This is an invitation to enjoyment," she mused. "Andrew and I have labored so much, and we have everything that money can buy. The lucky woman will truly come to enjoy life when she becomes my co-wife officially." Suddenly, her mind filled with thoughts of the 3 ladies who often visited her. They played with her and treated her like a mother. Confusion set in as she pondered how to choose the one who wouldn't become a thorn in her flesh. "These 3 are proud of me," she reflected. "They've never made me feel bad about my height, and I feel comfortable in their company. I think one of them should be okay for this." Durana's thoughts continued to swirl. She remembered the kindness of Sarah. Sarah has always been so sweet and understanding, but will she remain the same if she becomes Andrew's wife too? The gentle humor of Lucy. Lucy's humor lights up my days, but can she handle the responsibilities that come with this role? And the unwavering support of Grace. Grace is like a rock, always there for me, but will our friendship survive such a transition? Each of them had qualities she admired, and she's so confident that her plan would work well with one of them. Durana put a call across to Sarah. "Hi, my darling Sarah." Sarah shouted with excitement, "Mom, how are you doing? Hope you are good." "Yes, I am," Durana replied. "I need your help with something. I've been feeling so weak lately, and I want you to come over to help with dinner. My husband hasn't been eating well due to my illness. Can you help prepare his favorite meal?" "Oh, Mom, I've watched you cook it several times. I think I should be able to make it just like you do. I'll be there shortly." Ma. Sarah arrived not too long after, and it felt like she was back home. She immediately asked about Durana's health and then rushed to the kitchen. She prepared the meal and invited Durana to come and serve the food, saying, "Ma, it's a privilege to single-handedly cook dinner for you and Dad, but I want you to be the one to serve Dad his meal." Durana, pretending to be very sick, asked her to serve Andrew while she brought hers to the room. Sarah eagerly agreed and dished out the food for Andrew, then served Durana in her room. She asked Durana for permission to stay with Andrew at the dining table, claiming she wanted to watch a program on the TV. Before Andrew came to the table, Sarah changed into a revealing beautiful gown. As soon as Andrew sat down, she started cracking jokes that made him laugh heartily. Andrew complimented her cooking, saying it was the best meal he had ever tasted, and appreciated her for her efforts. Sarah was visibly blushing while conversing with him. Durana watched every bit of it on the CCTV camera and was surprised at Sarah's behavior. The most surprising thing was that before she went to Durana's room to take away her plate, Sarah had already changed back into the decent clothes she was wearing previously. As Sarah was clearing the dishes, Durana decided to probe a bit further. "Sarah, thank you so much for today. You are amazing. You know, Andrew and I have always thought of you as family." Sarah smiled warmly. "Thank you, Mom. You and Mr. Andrew have always been so kind to me. It's the least I could do." After Sarah left, Durana sat with Andrew to discuss what she had observed. "Andrew, I watched Sarah tonight. She was quite comfortable with you." Andrew looked surprised. "Comfortable? How do you mean?" "She changed into a very revealing gown and was making you laugh. She seemed to enjoy your company a lot," Durana explained. Andrew sighed. "Durana, your decision is okay by me." The following day, Durana called Lucy. "Lucy, sweetie, how are you doing?" Lucy sensed weakness in her voice and asked, "Mom, my bestie, what happened to you? Why are you sounding like this?" Durana sighed. "I have been sick, and that's why I called. I need you to prepare Dad's favorite tonight for dinner. He hasn't been eating well since this illness started." "I will be right there," Lucy said reassuringly. A few minutes later, she came in and handed a bunch of bananas over to Durana, saying, "I got your favorite fruit for you on my way here. Please relax with this while I cook for you." Lucy hurriedly prepared the meal and then asked, "Would you like to come and serve the meal?" Durana replied, "Please serve Andrew and bring mine to the room." Lucy did as instructed and then sat with Durana in her room. She massaged Durana's legs and filled the house with infectious laughter. Andrew was all alone at the dining table, hearing the echo of their laughter from the room. After a while, Andrew walked into the room with his empty plate. The food was delicious. "Lucy, thank you." Andrew added, "It's nice to see Durana smiling and laughing again. You always have that effect on her." Lucy chuckled. "Well, it's easy when you love someone so much." After Lucy left, Durana sat down with Andrew to discuss what she had observed. "Andrew, Lucy was wonderful today. She made me laugh and feel better, but she didn't really engage with you." Andrew nodded. "Yes, I noticed that too. She seemed more focused on you than on me, and I'm very cool with that. I prefer someone that would give you joy. Remember, I can't stand you being unhappy." Durana sighed. "It's a difficult decision. We need someone who can integrate into our lives without disrupting the harmony we've built." Durana's mind had focused on Lucy but wanted to try Grace as well. She put a call across to Grace at the dawn of the next day. "Grace, my darling, how are you?" I'm fine, Mom, Grace replied. I'm sorry for not checking on you all this while. Durana sighed. I have been sick for some time now. I was thinking if you could come over to my place to cook for Dad. I haven't been able to cook for him, and I think you can prepare his favorite well. Oh, Mom, that would have been my joy, but I'm not in town right now, and it will take 2 months before I come back. I left town yesterday to my uncle's place. Durana, sounding desperate, said, Can you ask your uncle for a day off? I would foot the transportation bill. Mom, I would have loved to, but my uncle is terribly sick and admitted to the hospital. No one is with him, and that's why I was instructed to come immediately yesterday. Durana paused, thinking of what to say next. Grace, I understand. Family comes first. I'm just feeling a bit overwhelmed and worried about Andrew. Grace's voice softened. I know, Mom, I wish I could be there. But maybe I can call one of my friends who is still in town to help out. I trust them, and they can cook well. Durana smiled, appreciating Grace's effort. Thank you, Grace, that would be helpful, but I need you in person. Don't worry, my darling, I will manage. After ending the call, Durana felt a mix of relief and frustration. She shared her thoughts with Andrew over breakfast. Grace is out of town, Andrew. She won't be available for the next 2 months. Andrew looked concerned. That's unfortunate. What should we do now? Durana sighed. I think Lucy would be the best for this assignment. Andrew nodded. I'm comfortable with your choice. A month later, after much contemplation and careful planning, Andrew officially married Lucy. Durana was overjoyed that she had found the best match for her husband. As the wedding celebrations concluded, Durana sat with Lucy in the garden, watching Andrew from a distance. Lucy, I'm so happy that you are now part of our family. I know you will take good care of Andrew. Lucy smiled warmly. Thank you, Mom. I promise to do my best to make both of you happy. Durana nodded, her eyes welling up with tears. I have no doubt about that. You have shown so much love and care already. In the weeks that followed, Lucy integrated seamlessly into the household. She took care of Andrew and Durana with genuine affection, balancing her role with grace and kindness. The house was filled with laughter and warmth, and Durana felt a profound sense of peace. One evening, as the family gathered for dinner, Andrew raised his glass in a toast. To Durana, for her wisdom and love, and to Lucy, for bringing new joy into our lives. Durana beamed with pride as she clinked glasses with them. To our beautiful family, she said, her voice full of emotion. Lucy added, and to the future, filled with love and happiness. At night, Lucy woke up to ease herself and, on getting to the bathroom, she threw up. She was all alone in her room and didn't want to disturb Andrew and Durana's sleep, so she managed to go back to bed while praying for the day to break fast. The next morning, Durana was worried when she didn't meet Lucy in the kitchen, which was very unlike her. She almost finished the house chores before deciding to check on her. Opening Lucy's door gently, she found her still sleeping but running a high temperature. Durana's worrying deepened. Lucy, honey, wake up, Durana said softly, gently shaking her. Are you okay? Lucy stirred, her eyes fluttering open. Mom, I feel awful. I don't know what's wrong with me. Durana placed a hand on Lucy's forehead. You're burning up. We need to get you to the hospital. Lucy nodded weakly, struggling to sit up. Durana helped her out of bed and supported her as they walked down the hallway. Andrew, Durana called out. Andrew, come quickly. Andrew rushed in from the living room, concern etched on his face. What happened? Is Lucy all right? She's running a high fever and feels very weak. Dorana explained. We need to take her to the hospital. Andrew nodded, grabbing his car keys. I'll get the car ready. Dorana helped Lucy to the living room sofa and handed her a glass of water. Drink this slowly, dear. We'll be at the hospital soon. Dorana and Andrew helped Lucy to the car, making sure she was comfortable in the back seat. As they drove, Dorana held Lucy's hand, offering reassuring words. Don't worry, Lucy, you're going to be okay. Lucy managed a weak smile. Thank you, Mom, I appreciate it. They pulled into the clinic's parking lot, and Andrew quickly found a spot near the entrance. He and Dorana helped Lucy out of the car and into the clinic, where a nurse immediately took her to an examination room. As they waited for the doctor, Dorana squeezed Lucy's hand, hoping to hear good news. A few minutes later, the doctor entered the room with a smile. Good news. Lucy is 3 weeks pregnant. Dorana's heart filled with joy, and she turned to share the news with Andrew, who was equally overjoyed. As Dorana ran to hug him, her leg hit a chair. Andrew was fast enough to stop her from falling, but she immediately became unconscious and was rushed to the ICU. After a tense wait, the doctor returned with another surprising news. Dorana is also 3 weeks pregnant. Andrew was astounded. Please run the test again. Dorana had never been pregnant in our 25 years of marriage. The test was reconfirmed, and Andrew was filled with joy at the double blessings. Lucy and Dorana were admitted and discharged 3 days after. As they were going home, there was a quietness in the car until they got home. Dorana sat in the living room, watching TV, while Lucy joined her a few minutes later. Andrew walked in, carrying a tray of tea. I think this calls for a celebration, he said, setting the tray down. To baby's on the way, can you imagine? Dorana took a cup of tea and looked at Andrew, her eyes filled with gratitude. Andrew, this is more than I ever dreamed. Our family is finally complete. Lucy nodded, her eyes welling up with tears. I'm so happy to be part of this family. I promise to be the best mother and co-wife I can be. Andrew was so excited at the turn of the event. We are going to have a wonderful journey ahead, together, he said. As Andrew hurried off to the office, Dorana reassured him that she and Lucy would manage well in his absence. Andrew kissed Dorana on the forehead and hurried out the door, leaving Dorana and Lucy sitting in the living room, lost in their own thoughts. You know, Lucy, Dorana began softly, breaking the silence that hung between them, you've brought so much joy and laughter into our home. And now, with this blessing we've both received. Lucy's response was unexpectedly sharp. Mom, I didn't expect you to be pregnant too, Lucy retorted with a hint of frustration. I never wanted my children to have to compete with another child. I thought I was the one who would fulfill that role in this family. Dorana's heart sank at Lucy's words. Lucy, why would you think that? Dorana asked, I thought you understood how much I value you and how long I have waited for this joy. Lucy's tone softened slightly, but her words remained tinged with hurt. I agreed to be part of this family because I thought I would be the one to bear children for Andrew. I wanted to be the one to bring that joy to you both. Now I don't know where I fit in. Dorana felt a pang of guilt wash over her. Oh, Lucy, Dorana whispered, reaching out to touch her hand. I never meant for you to feel this way. You are such an important part of our family, and nothing will ever change that. Tears welled in Lucy's eyes as she struggled to articulate her feelings. Mom, I'm sorry for reacting like this. It's just unexpected. Durana nodded, her eyes filling with tears. I understand, Lucy. This is a lot to process. But please believe me, your place in our family is secure. Your love and care mean the world to Andrew and me. But Lucy, feeling overwhelmed and unheard, shook her head. I need some time, she said quietly, standing up abruptly. I can't talk more about this right now. With that, Lucy walked out of the living room. In the evening, Andrew and Durana went to their usual bedroom, while Lucy couldn't settle in her room. She was there rolling from one end to another on the bed. She later left and stood outside their door at 11 p.m., knocking. Durana heard the knock and opened the door. Lucy, is everything all right? She asked softly, worried. Lucy hissed at her and rushed into the room. I'm sleeping beside my husband tonight, she said firmly, surprising Durana and Andrew, who were quietly looking at her. Andrew was surprised by Lucy's sudden decision. He gently reminded her of their agreement. Lucy, you have your own room. This room is for Durana and me, he said calmly, feeling unsure about what to do. But Lucy stood her ground. That was before I got pregnant, she insisted. Now that I'm having your child, I need to be close to you. I need your care and love. Durana, sensing tension, tried to find a solution. Andrew, please, she said softly. Let her stay tonight. I can go to another room. Reluctantly, Andrew agreed. Okay, Lucy, he sighed, making space for her in bed. But this doesn't change our agreement. This room belonged to me and my wife. Lucy cut in. So, who am I if Durana is your wife? Andrew said you owe her due respect and that I can't joke with. Lucy nodded, feeling victorious as she settled next to Andrew. Andrew couldn't sleep. He thought about what Lucy's demand meant for their family. He regretted the decision of getting the second wife. Durana quietly moved to another room, worried about the change in their home, but decided to pull through at all costs. Andrew got up early in the morning to catch up with his duties at the office. As he came out of the room, he saw Durana in the kitchen making breakfast for him. He hugged her warmly, reassuring her, You know I love you more than anything, right? Durana smiled and replied, I know, Andrew. I'm choosing not to be bothered. I'm in the best phase of my life right now. I have a baby growing in my womb. Your baby. Andrew kissed her forehead. We're finally getting what we've always dreamed of, he said softly. I'm so grateful for you. Durana continued, I feel the same way. Despite everything, we have each other and our baby. That's what matters most. Andrew helped her finish up the breakfast preparations. As they worked together, he added, We'll get through this, Durana. I promise, we'll handle Lucy and everything else. Just focus on our baby and your health. Durana nodded, feeling reassured by his words. I will. Thank you for always being my rock, Andrew. Before he left for the office, Andrew looked at Durana, feeling a surge of love and determination. Take care of yourself today. Call me if you need anything, okay? Durana smiled warmly. I will. Have a great day at work. Lucy came out immediately after Andrew drove out of the compound. She met her breakfast on the dining table while Durana was still taking hers. Thanks so much, my co-wife, Lucy said with a hint of sarcasm. Durana smiled politely. You're welcome, Lucy. Lucy settled into a chair and started eating her breakfast. After a few moments, she said, I would love to have some fruit by noon. Would you get that for me? Or should I send the gateman? Durana, maintaining her composure, replied, We are all at your service. You can choose who goes on an errand for you and who doesn't. Lucy smirked. I prefer you go for me because you can make a better choice than the gateman. Durana nodded, I'll get it ready before noon. As Durana finished her breakfast, Lucy continued, "By the way, Durana, I was thinking about how things are changing around here. With both of us pregnant, I think we need a house help." Durana looked at her calmly. "Andrew and I will see to that." Lucy raised an eyebrow. "Oh, you and Andrew. Then where is the place for my decision? I'm now a significant figure in this family." Ignoring the tension, Durana replied, "Okay, we shall all decide when Andrew comes back." Durana asked the driver to take her to the market. She was back before noon as she promised, carrying a variety of fresh fruits. Lucy was lounging in the living room, watching TV. Durana approached her with the fruit platter. "Here you go, Lucy, fresh and ready." Lucy looked at the platter and nodded approvingly. "You did well, Durana." As Lucy picked at the fruits, she said, "You know, Durana, I have my own ways of doing things. I hope you're okay with that. No more stress for me till I give birth. I want to have a healthy child." Durana replied, "You can have all the rest you want. You would sure have a healthy child." Lucy leaned back, eyeing Durana. "The mistake you made was to be pregnant at this time." Durana gave a weak smile and said, "My child is not a mistake. I got pregnant at the right time." The tension hung thick in the air. Lucy, unwilling to let it drop, added, "You know, Durana, it's not just about the pregnancy. I feel like you still see me as an outsider. I need to feel like I belong here, like I have a say in this household." Durana took a deep breath. "Lucy, you do belong here. You are officially married to my husband." Lucy frowned. "Your husband? It feels like I'm the only one trying to fit in. I gave up a lot to be here, to be with Andrew, and now I have to share him with you and this your new baby." Durana's eyes softened. "Lucy, I understand your feelings. This is a unique situation for all of us. Let's work together to make it work, for the sake of our children." Lucy looked away. "Henceforth I sleep beside my husband and I must be part of every decision in this house, including Andrew's business. I need to feel respected and valued. Not just as Andrew's second wife, but as a significant part of this family." Durana nodded. "I hear you, Lucy. Let's talk more about this when Andrew gets home." Durana was at the veranda talking to Andrew on the phone. Lucy came out, fuming. "So, you were the reason why Andrew wasn't picking my calls. I've called him several times, and he kept busying my line. Can he talk to both of us at the same time?" Durana responded calmly, "You have been the one keeping him all through the night. Allow me to be with him on the phone during the day." Lucy, enraged, snatched the phone from Durana's hand and smashed it on the floor. "Don't push me, or I'll make sure you get your baby aborted. You know your womb is not as big as mine. I wonder how a baby manages to fit into the womb of a dwarf like you." Durana, now angry, said, "Never talk to me like that again in your life, or I will make you regret the day you said yes to Andrew. I chose to be calm to make you comfortable, but that doesn't mean I'm stupid." Lucy, seething, shouted back, "I'm waiting to see you give birth to another dwarf. You'll see how Andrew will send you out of this house. My child will never have to compete with your dwarf baby. In fact, I will make sure you get your baby aborted." She then turned and walked back inside, leaving Durana to pick up the pieces of her broken phone. Durana sighed. "I'll be fine. This is just a difficult situation. I would definitely pull through unhurt," she muttered to herself. Durana was relaxing from the house chores, watching TV. When Lucy came out with a bucket of water and poured it on her, saying, "Get your baby aborted. I want my child to have it all." Durana said, "Your threat came too late. I'm having a healthy child that is a sure promise. Durana was alone in her room when the labor pains started. She called Andrew on the phone, but he was still sound asleep. Lucy picked the call and said, "Don't ever call this number at night again," and ended the call. Desperate, Durana called the driver and the gateman, who quickly took her to the hospital. As Durana arrived at the hospital, doctors rushed into action. The driver and the gateman hurried back home to inform Andrew. When they told him the news, Lucy demanded to go with him to see Durana. Andrew, concerned, agreed, and they both quickly headed to the hospital. Durana was still in labor when they arrived. As soon as Lucy stepped into the hospital, her labor pains also started, and she was taken into the delivery room as well. Shortly after, both women gave birth. Durana gave birth to a baby girl while Lucy gave birth to a baby boy. In the recovery room, Andrew moved between the two women, trying to be supportive. He held Durana's hand first. "You did great, Durana. Our baby girl is beautiful. I name her Joyce." Durana, exhausted but smiling, responded, "Thank you, Andrew. I'm so happy she's here." Andrew then went to Lucy's side. "Lucy, we have a son. I name him Franklin. He's perfect." Lucy, holding her baby boy, looked up at Andrew. "Yes, he is. But Andrew, remember our conversation. My son should have all the attention he deserves." Andrew sighed. "Lucy, both children will be loved and taken care of equally. They're both my children, and they both deserve the best." Durana, overhearing their conversation, spoke up. "Lucy, our children will grow up together as siblings. Let's make sure they have a loving and peaceful home." Lucy looked over at Durana. "Like I said before, my male child must be given all deserved attention in this house." Durana and the nurse in the ward exchanged a tentative smile. Lucy's negative attitude grew worse after childbirth, and she was always mad at Durana at every opportunity. Andrew tried to calm her down, but it was to no avail, and Durana had decided to live with her excesses. One day, Joyce, Durana's daughter, crawled to where Franklin's toys were kept and pulled one out. Lucy saw her from afar, rushed over, and slapped her hand, saying, "Never come close to my child's things again, never." Joyce cried, screaming, which made Durana rush out of the room to attend to her. "What happened?" Durana shouted, alarmed. Lucy turned to Durana and said, "Warn your child never to come close to my child or touch his things." Durana shook her head and said, "Did you have to transfer your anger to the children? They're just babies, Lucy." Lucy answered, "I hate my child fighting for space." "Durana, I hate you. Go away with your child and leave Andrew for me." Durana, trying to keep her composure, replied, "Lucy, this isn't about you or me. Our children are innocent in this. They should grow up loving each other, not being driven apart by our differences." Lucy glared at her. "You just don't get it, do you? I want my son to have everything. I don't want him to share anything, especially not with your daughter." Durana sighed deeply. "Franklin and Joyce are siblings, Lucy. They deserve to have a normal relationship, not one tainted by jealousy and anger." Lucy scoffed. "Normal? Nothing about this situation is normal, Durana. You should never have gotten pregnant. You ruined everything. My plan, my dream." Just then, Andrew walked in, having overheard part of the argument. "What's going on here?" he asked, looking at both women. Lucy turned to him, tears of frustration in her eyes. "Andrew, tell Durana to keep her daughter away from my son. I can't stand this anymore." Andrew, looking between them, said firmly, "Lucy, Joyce is just a baby. She doesn't understand these boundaries you're setting. We need to teach them to share and care for each other. Lucy, still fuming, responded, I won't have my son competing for anything, Andrew. Not his toys, not his space, not even his parents' attention. Andrew sighed, running a hand through his hair. This is getting out of hand. Lucy, can't we be at peace for the sake of these children? Lucy turned away. Unwilling to listen, Durana stared at her as she left. Franklin was in the study room doing his assignment when Joyce rushed in, her textbook in hand. Franklin, can you help me with this calculations problem? She asked hopefully. Franklin looked up and responded with a scornful laugh. What are you going to achieve with this? Dad is just wasting his money on you. You don't need all this stress. You'll end up in the kitchen anyway. Joyce felt a pang of hurt. Can't you be a good brother for once? Franklin cut in sharply. My mom told me how useless you'll end up being. All our father's wealth belongs to me, and I will send you and your mom out of this house when I finally become the chairman of our father's company. Joyce responded, Franklin, why are you and your mom like this? Why can't be peaceful for once? Tears welled up in Joyce's eyes as she ran out of the room, seeking solace in her mother's embrace. Joyce didn't see her mom in her room. She then sat down sobbing. Durana was worried when she sighted Joyce. What happened again this time? She asked gently. Joyce, her voice trembling, recounted everything. Franklin said I'm useless and that he'll send us away when he becomes chairman of Dad's company. Durana's heart ached for her daughter. She looked into Joyce's eyes and said firmly, Take your education seriously. My dear, you have a bright future ahead of you. I will always be here for you, no matter what. Joyce sniffled, but Franklin is so cruel. Mom, he makes me feel like I don't belong here. Durana stroked Joyce's hair. Don't let his words get to you. You are strong, intelligent, and capable. His cruelty comes from his insecurity and his mother's influence. Focus on becoming the best version of yourself. Joyce nodded, trying to draw strength from her mother's words. I will, Mom, I'll prove them wrong. Franklin graduated as a computer engineer while Joyce graduated as a lawyer. Andrew was thrilled that both of his children had made him proud, and was super excited. Lucy was furious at Joyce's success and determined to stop her from advancing in her career. Durana noticed the hatred for Joyce written all over Lucy's face and decided to confront her. Lucy, Durana began gently. Despite all odds, Joyce graduated as the best in her department. It's an incredible achievement. Lucy couldn't hold her shock and disdain. We shall see how far she can go with that, she spat. Durana took a deep breath, trying to remain calm. Why can't you be happy for her, Lucy? Lucy glared at her. Happy for her? Why should I be? Her success threatens Franklin's future. Andrew's attention will be divided. Durana shook her head. There is enough room for both Franklin and Joyce to succeed. Their achievements don't take away from each other. You're naive. Durana, Lucy sneered. You think everything will be fine just because you want it to be. Your daughter vowed to be a lawyer. Wasn't it because she wanted to fight my son's position? Durana shook her head. Lucy, Joyce and Franklin can never be enemies. They're both from Andrew's loins. Lucy stared at her and said, I have allowed this competition for long. It's time for me to put an end to it. Like I said, Joyce's success is a direct threat to my son's future, and that I won't allow to happen. After the get-together party, Andrew gathered his children together, his face beaming with excitement. Kids, I have some wonderful news, he began, watching their faces light up with anticipation. You're both going abroad in just 4 days to continue your education. Franklin and Joyce exchanged gleeful looks, unable to hide their joy. Franklin exclaimed, "Dad, that's amazing," while Joyce nodded enthusiastically, her eyes sparkling with anticipation. Lucy, however, wore a troubled expression, her mind racing with thoughts. She had hoped this opportunity would be reserved solely for her child, and Andrew's announcement only deepened her disappointment. 2 days later, Joyce joined her friends in school for a send-forth party celebrating her graduation, after which Joyce set out for home, her heart still soaring from the well wishes of friends and faculty. As she drove through a quiet stretch of road, a car double-crossed her and made her car to stop. 3 guys came out of the car and raped her right inside her own car, while one of them said, "Stay clear from Lucy, your stepmother." Durana was sitting in the garden beside Andrew, waiting for Joyce to return. They wondered what could have kept her out so late. As the night grew darker, their concern deepened. Much later, Andrew's phone rang, and he was informed that Joyce was in critical condition and needed urgent attention. Durana, troubled and anxious, quickly joined Andrew, ready to head to the hospital. Lucy and Franklin also insisted on going with them, their expressions a mix of worrying and something unspoken. Upon arriving at the hospital, Andrew urgently told the doctor, "Please, give your best to save my daughter. Do whatever it takes." Everyone sat in the reception area, tension hanging heavy in the air. Durana couldn't sit still, her thoughts racing. She then overheard a conversation between Lucy and Franklin. Lucy's voice was low but laced with bitterness. "I told you that girl wouldn't amount to anything. Who knows where she's coming from to end up in such a situation?" Durana shook her head, trying to keep her composure. "I know my daughter will come out of this alive," she said firmly. Lucy hissed dismissively, "We'll be right here to see the end." The wait seemed endless until finally, a doctor emerged from the ICU. "Mr. Andrew, your daughter is stable now, but she has requested to see only her mother." Durana hurried into the ICU, her heart pounding. Joyce lay there, looking pale but conscious. She reached out a trembling hand to her mother. "Please, do all you can to save me, Mom. And watch the footage from the CCTV camera in my car. You'll understand what happened to me." Durana, holding back tears, squeezed Joyce's hand gently. "You will be perfectly fine, my dear, I promise." "Mom, I love you," Joyce whispered, her eyes filled with trust and fear. The doctor stepped in, gently urging Durana to leave. "She needs to rest now to recover fully." Durana nodded and kissed Joyce on the forehead. "I love you too, sweetheart." Returning to the waiting area, Durana's mind was spinning with thoughts. She needed to see that footage. She needed to understand what had happened to her daughter. As she sat down, Andrew reached for her hand, squeezing it reassuringly. "What's the situation?" Andrew asked Durana quietly. "She's stable, but we need to check the CCTV footage from her car," she said. "It will explain everything." Durana replied, her voice steady but strained. Andrew nodded, his face set in determination. "We'll get to the bottom of this. Joyce will be safe." Andrew asked Lucy and Franklin to stay at the hospital, saying he and Durana needed to get something in town and would be right back. "We won't be long," Andrew assured them, his face a mask of calm. As they drove home, Andrew's grip on the steering wheel tightened. "I need to know what happened to my daughter." Durana, her face set in grim determination, nodded. "We need to see the footage for ourselves." Once home, they immediately went to Joyce's car and retrieved the CCTV footage. Sitting together in the living room, they watched in horror as the events unfolded. The footage clearly showed the men attacking Joyce and one of them saying, "Stay clear from Lucy, your stepmom." Andrew's face turned red with fury. "This is it. I'm calling the police." Dorana placed a hand on his arm, stopping him. "Not so fast, Andrew. I want Joyce to be perfectly well before we take care of Lucy. I want her to see Lucy being arrested by the police. She deserves that closure." Andrew took a deep breath, struggling to control his anger. "You're right, Dorana. But I'm so mad at Lucy's horrible attitude. She will pay for this." They drove back to the hospital, their faces composed, pretending as if nothing had happened. They rejoined Lucy and Franklin in the waiting room. "Everything okay?" Lucy asked, eyeing them suspiciously. "Yes, we just needed to get a few things sorted," Andrew replied smoothly, giving nothing away. As they sat in silence, the doctor returned, giving an update on Joyce's condition. "She is resting now and her vitals are stable. We will continue to monitor her closely." "Thank you, doctor," Dorana said, her voice calm but firm. "We appreciate all you're doing." Andrew added, "We'll stay here tonight, just in case." The doctor nodded and left, leaving the four of them in the waiting room. 2 days later, when Joyce was fully stable but still awaiting discharge, Dorana suddenly announced, "I have a confession to make." Lucy quickly interjected, "Please do your confession and then leave with your daughter to give me total peace in my husband's house." Andrew looked puzzled and slightly alarmed. "What could that be that you can't discuss with me privately, Dorana?" Dorana, her face set with determination, said, "It's a confession I must make in front of everyone, and it must be in this hospital." Everyone stared at her in disbelief. 19 years ago, when we came here for the delivery of our children, I was gripped with fear for my baby's safety because of my horrible experiences with Lucy during my pregnancy. I then arranged with one of the nurses to exchange our babies, since fate made us give birth on the same day. I had a baby boy while she had a baby girl. Lucy dragged Franklin close to herself and shouted, "That's not possible. Andrew, please don't believe that lie. I am Franklin's mom. I gave birth to a male child, remember." Andrew, visibly shaken, left the ward without talking to anyone. He returned shortly with a doctor and said, "Take their samples for a DNA test. I want to know the truth." Joyce, with tears in her eyes, said, "Whatever the result is, I am not changing my mother." Lucy scoffed, "Of course. Yes, I can't be a mother to a useless child like you." Franklin, looking conflicted, watched the scene unfold, awaiting the results. When the DNA test results came back, the truth was revealed. Dorana was Franklin's biological mother, and Lucy was Joyce's biological mother. Joyce hugged Dorana tightly. "You are the only mother I have, and nothing will change that." Franklin, looking indifferent, said, "This is unbelievable. How possible am I going to fit into this new arrangement?" "Franklin, I did all that to protect you. It wasn't easy for me, but for your safety, I sacrificed that much. I have done so many wrong things against you, trying to please my stepmom." Lucy, furious, dragged Franklin by the arm. "You are my child. Don't be deceived by anyone. Remember, you are the heir to Andrew's empire." Andrew shook his head, his face a mix of disappointment and resolve. "Let's all go home for further discussion. I also have something to tell everyone." Joyce was discharged, and they all went back home, the atmosphere heavy with tension and anticipation. At home, everyone gathered in the living room waiting to hear what Andrew had to say. Andrew began, "Dorana and I attended the same university and we were best friends, which later turned into a relationship with the promise of spending our lives together. On the night of our wedding, her father invited us over to their house and had a private discussion with me that my union with his daughter had brought me fortune. That was when I learned that Durana was the chairman of a multinational company owned by her father. I was given the appointment letter to become the financial director of that company that same night. Since then, I have worked under the leadership of my wife, who is my chairman. Everyone listened intently, shocked by the revelation. Andrew continued, when her father was about to die, he made her promise that his legacy would continue through that company from generation to generation. That promise was what led Durana to insist we bring in another wife, to bear children who would come from my lineage and also be raised by us, to prepare them for the future. Lucy, with tears streaming down her face, said, "Andrew, I thought you owned everything. I never knew that Mom is the real owner." Everyone was surprised to hear her call Durana Mom. Andrew addressed their curiosity. Lucy was like a daughter to Durana and gave her that respect even after marrying me, until she discovered that Durana was pregnant. Lucy became a thorn in her flesh, and despite all that, Durana has always wanted the best for this family. Lucy looked at Durana, her expression a mixture of guilt and sorrow. "Mom, I am so sorry. I've been so blinded by my own ambitions and jealousy. I didn't realize everything you did was for the benefit of this family." Andrew continued, "I am not the owner of the company, the estate, the schools, or even this building. Durana owns them all." Lucy, looking repentant, "Mom, please, I'm sorry, and I would definitely turn a new leaf." Durana said, "We shall discuss that after now. There's something I want all of us to watch together." Andrew immediately switched on the laptop, and the footage from Joyce's car started playing. Franklin was furious and said, "Dad, we must arrest all those men." Durana responded, "Franklin, let's have some silence. We need to watch until the end." Joyce was sobbing while Lucy's gaze was fixed on the screen without saying anything. At the end, one of the guys said, "Stay clear of Lucy, your stepmom, if not we would end you." Franklin turned to Lucy. "Mom, are you the one responsible? Did you send those men?" Before Lucy could respond, Joyce's voice caught everyone's attention. "Hello, sir, you must come to our house right away. My life is in danger." Lucy rushed to stop her, but wasn't fast enough. Joyce had already finished the call. Lucy pleaded, "Joyce, did you call the police for your own mother?" She turned to Andrew and Durana, begging them to talk to Joyce and not get her arrested, but neither of them said anything. A knock on the door interrupted her drama. Joyce rushed to open the door and invited the police in, handing them the footage as evidence, while Lucy was taken to the police station. Andrew, looking at the officers, said, "Please ensure justice is served." Lucy, being led away in handcuffs, cried out, "Andrew, Durana, please, I'm sorry. Don't let them take me." Andrew replied sternly, "Lucy, you brought this upon yourself. We need to do what's right for Joyce." Lucy was taken away right in the presence of everyone. Franklin, shaken, turned to Durana and Joyce. "I never wanted things to get this far. I just wanted to make my mom proud." Durana hugged him. "We understand, Franklin, but now we need to move forward and heal." A week later, Lucy was sentenced to 40 years imprisonment, while the 3 men were sentenced to life imprisonment. Back home, Andrew gathered the family in the living room. "We've been through a lot, but it's time to focus on the future. Joyce, Franklin, you both have bright futures ahead. Let's support each other and rebuild our family." Joyce, holding her father's hand, said, "Thank you, Dad. We'll make you proud." Franklin added, "I'll do my best to make amends. I'm sorry for everything." Durana nodded. "We all have our parts to play. Let's cherish this second chance. What happened to Lucy afterwards?
More super interesting stories to watch on this channel are